Good morning, everyone. This is 10 unedited minutes with Marlena. It's Saturday morning. I feel like we are starting a little bit later, but that's because it's Saturday morning. And one of my most favorite things to do on the weekend is wake up slow, sit in bed, and just doom scroll on my phone forever until I'm ready to get up. And today I had to get up, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, my oldest daughter, Hannah, she calls me this morning, literally right before this podcast, and it changed the trajectory of what I wanted to speak about today because it touched my heart. And I need to tell you a little backstory first before I tell you what happened and why she called me. But first of all, my daughter is pregnant again. We are expecting our third grandchild, and we are just over the moon excited. So, yeah, this is my daughter's third pregnancy. We have our sweet granddaughter, Tasia, who is the absolute light of my life. Like, every cell in my body loves that girl. I cannot get enough of her. She's just my favorite thing on the face of this planet. And then last year, my daughter got pregnant again, and at 7 months, she delivered the baby stillborn, and it was the absolute worst day of our lives. Hannah started to notice reduced fetal movement a week prior, and the next week she went into the hospital because she wasn't feeling anything, and they could not find the heartbeat. So they had to deliver, and she delivered a sweet. I'm gonna try not to cry because Jesus, I'm emotional. She delivered a sweet baby girl. We named her Tiana. Tiana Sue Lynn, I believe. Tiana, and we used my middle name. So and I was there for the whole thing, and like I said, it was absolutely horrible. If anybody else has gone through something like that, I pray for you every day, because nobody, absolutely nobody, should have to go through that. So that was October 1st, okay, and that date's kind of important. So we got through that, still kind of processing it, dealing with it. But in the meantime, my daughter gets pregnant again. And again, we are over the moon excited. This pregnancy is mirroring the one with Tiana. So we are terrified, absolutely terrified. But I feel like she has better prenatal care and is being monitored very closely this time. So anyway, back to Tiana. Throughout our grieving process, you know, grief is just, it's the weirdest thing, right? You could be in the best mood all day and something could just spark, and you just are on your knees crying about, your loss. But there are also days, and I think as the longer you process grief, the more you start thinking about the good times, and you start looking for little signals of when your loved one makes an appearance. I know somebody who lost their husband, and they ever since they start seeing these butterflies, and these butterflies just hang around. So I've always believed that cardinals, if you see a cardinal, that's your loved one. And so my daughter calls me this morning, FaceTimes me, and she says, "Mom, I got to tell you something." I said, "Is it bad?" She said, No. It's about Tiana." And I said, "Oh, am I going to cry?" She said, No. So I guess last night, Tasia was using Hannah's phone. When doesn't she have that phone? But anyway, she was using Hannah's phone, and Hannah could hear like this siren or alarm, she said, or something. She's like, "I didn't know what it was." She's like, "I thought it was something on my phone." So I walked over to where Tasia was and kind of looked, and nothing. And she said, "I looked out. We had our window open." And she said, "I looked outside, and sitting on the tree branch was a cardinal screaming at me." screaming. And she said, we locked eyes, and the minute I locked eyes, it just stopped. And I said, I thought you weren't going to make me cry. but that was our sweet tea, just coming and saying hello to her mom. See what I mean? Jesus. Okay, stop that. This is bullshit. We're not going to cry about that today. So, what did I see on Facebook today? Facebook is also, Jesus, an emotional roller coaster. I think my algorithm shows me, weird things on the weekend in the mornings because it knows that I like to doom scroll. And this morning, it was funny, it was sad, it was touching. And one of the things that I saw, we'll continue on with the sad, and we'll move on to some of the happier ones. But there was this elderly woman, 80 some years old, who took her dog, a dog, for a walk. Turns out it was her daughter's dog, I guess. And it was at night, and the lady fell, and the dog ran up, found a police officer, ran up to the car, and would not leave the car alone. And then they got a call in from the elderly woman's husband that she went out for a walk and hadn't returned, and the time that had lapsed was not good. So they called the police officer. The police officer saw this dog. They get out, and they're like, "Where's your mom? Where's your mom?" And this dog led them right to this elderly woman who had fallen. The woman was okay. She was coherent. She was talking, but they think that maybe she probably broke a bone or whatever. But that dog led them right to her. That is so crazy. It was pitch black. It was nighttime. And it turns out, she said, "It's my granddog. It's my daughter's dog." And it was just so sweet. And of course, it was part golden retriever, I think, or lab, which they are the most loyal dogs on the face of this planet. We have our little Beau he's a mixed breed, but he's got some lab in him, and he's the best. He's the best boy ever. So what was the happy thing that happened? So Ohio State must be forming their band for this year, and they had drum major tryouts, and they showed a video of a young man who was trying out to be drum major, and he made the assistant drum major position. But the baton twirling this guy did, holy moly, it was crazy. The talent in this young man was crazy. I think I watched the video like 3 times because he was flipping that baton. He'd throw it up in the air. He would do a freaking backflip. He would juggle 3 batons. He would throw 2 batons in the air and catch them under his leg behind his... Oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was crazy. So I'm telling you what, social media, Facebook, I always get up in the mornings on the weekends, and I'm like, I just feel like I went through a bipolar episode, because you could see something hilarious, you could see something just nostalgic, you could see something very sad, and I mean, it just goes up and down and up and down. So crazy. But like I said, it's one of my most favorite things to do on the weekend, because it kind of relaxes me, and whatever, that's what I do. So what are we doing today? I am out of bed a little early for Saturday morning. Don't judge me. But I am going thrifting with my other daughter. We are so excited. She is opening her own massage practice, and she needs a little table and a chair for her clients. Just the chair for her clients to sit on, the table for her to put stuff on. So we're going to go to the Etc. shop here in Bluffton, and then head off to the Restore in Findlay, Habitat Restore. So if you haven't been to either one of these places, the Etc. shop in Bluffton, it's a thrift store, but it's almost like a boutique. I love that place. I love that place. I donate stuff there all the time. And then I go shop there all the time. And if you don't see me in there for a while, it's because I have other bills to pay. And then the Habitat Restore in Findlay, I love that store too. They have some really good pieces of furniture. We've bought dressers there. And you guys, my timer just went off. Sometimes I feel like I didn't take a breath through this. But anyway, the Habitat Restore in Findlay is beautiful. They just remodeled it in there, and I haven't been in there since, but I've been following it on social media, and it looks great. So I can't wait to go and visit it and see what they've done with the place, and see if we can't find my daughter some furniture for her room in her massage clinic. And yeah, so time's up today, guys. I don't want to take this more than over too long of time. Well, apparently I can't talk at the end either, but time's up. So you guys have a great day. I plan on having one. It's going to be a fun day with my daughter. And then I'll end the day going to church tonight and being a Eucharistic minister and handing out our church directories. We're very excited about those. I helped design them, and I cannot wait to see the final product. I'm so excited. So that's how I'm going to end my day. You guys have a blessed day. I will pray for you. You pray for me, and we'll see you later.